For tonight's night out, my outfit inspo is Caroline Bessette. Okay?
Caroline Bessette. We don't even know the name. And we're like, here's the outfit inspo. She's an icon. I'm obsessed with her style. And it's like, girl, you don't even know her name. I've had enough. I've had enough of quiet luxury. I've had enough of cool girl. We have to stop. I think that the cool girl, or whatever this idea is, has become the most commercialized, stupid consumer movement in the history of social media at this point. When I'm tall, blonde, and have a big nose, so I know I'd be JFK Jr.'s type. What? It's like going to Spirit Halloween and putting on a costume. And it's like, here's the Carolyn Bessette Kennedy section. I don't like this influencer culture. Stop with the stupid advertisements when you have no clue who she even was. You don't even say her name right. You're a grifter. You're an opportunist. You're trying to sell people stuff when you don't actually have any respect for fashion or style or anything like that. So just stop. Thanks. Guys, it's true. I can confirm Caroline Bessette Kennedy has taken over NYC once again.
You guys, I hate to be the one to break this news to you. There is a new pandemic hitting New York City, and I'm reporting right here on the ground as it happens. I stepped out of my apartment today. Everyone's Caroline Bessette Kennedy. And who knows, by tomorrow, the population could double. I'm seeing people in a headband, in a C.O. Bigelow headband that have never been in a C.O. Bigelow headband. I'm seeing people in a trench coat that have historically never worn a trench coat. Everyone lock your doors. Turn that Ryan Murphy off now.
So if you don't know who Caroline Bessette Kennedy is, let me fill you in. All right. So she was a fashion publicist that was working at Calvin Klein during what I would consider to be sort of Calvin Klein's peak popularity during the 90s. She was working in New York City very closely with Calvin Klein when she eventually met who would later become her husband, JFK Jr. Caroline Bessette Kennedy was largely considered to be a fashion icon. Okay. She was very enigmatic. She had a notorious dislike for the media and paparazzi attention. She was a very private person, but she had what many people would consider to be great sartorial instincts, okay? Everything she wore was perfectly tailored. It definitely captured the spirit of 90s minimalism, the sort of off-duty model look that a lot of people strive for, sort of undone hair, but she had some really iconic pieces that made her style unique to her, which were her tortoiseshell headbands and her specific pair of sunglasses that she would wear. Now, why is everyone and their mother literally going crazy over Caroline Bessette Kennedy? Well, there's a new TV series, okay, that's romanticizing the hell out of this relationship. More on that later. Not exactly the relationship that you'd want to be in. Okay. There's a new FX series called Love Story, which is just maybe one of the worst names I can think of for, this type of relationship. Like, genuinely, everybody seems to be watching it right now, especially those who live in New York City, which is where they both lived. So yes, we have people who are deep in the BS. Okay. Bessette syndrome. Yes, it's true. The likes of which I have not seen so strong in a while. Okay, it's a little alarming actually.
Somewhere out there in the world, there's someone who has been a Hailey Bieber clean girl, a Charlie XCX Gabriette party girl, and now is slowly transforming into Caroline Bessette Kennedy, all in the space of 2 years. So if you think you're easily influenced, just know you're not that person.
Look, she's not wrong, okay? Somewhere out there, someone just got done celebrating their Ralph Lauren Christmas with their Labubus, their Roller Rabbit, their Park sweatshirts, and now they're excited to transition into, Caroline Bessette Kennedy core. They're basically adopting the entire personality and style of whoever the current cool girl is, with little to no acknowledgement of their own personal style.
Everyone wants to dress like Caroline Bessette right now.
How to dress like Caroline Bessette Kennedy.
If you want to dress like Caroline Bessette, I have some suggestions.
If you're like me and you're obsessed with Caroline Bessette now.
Guys, it's Caroline Bessette mania out there. Sometimes words don't do it justice. You just have to go out and see for yourself, but it's real, okay? Immediately transferring my entire style to dress like Caroline Bessette Kennedy after watching Love Story. Queen of effortless 90s chic, natural hair. They're throwing out all their clothes and they're just like, no, this is who I'm going to be. The urge to throw out every piece of color in my closet after watching Caroline Bessette on Love Story. Anyone else? Only black and denim will do. The show has me in a chokehold. Here's some of the comments. Y'all need identities. Quickly. Okay, 13,000 likes on that. Here y'all go. 9,000 likes. She didn't only wear black. Yeah, plenty of examples where she wasn't just wearing black and minimal. One of the things I've noticed with the Caroline Bessette Kennedy style trend right now is that her style was actually much more interesting than what is being represented. It's like people are just acting as if she only wore black and white basics, which is not necessarily true. There were a lot of niche designers that she was wearing at the time. There was actually a decent amount of color, but it was just worn strategically, I would say. But what people are really latching onto is like the easiest, lowest hanging fruit of her style that they can just run out and buy today. Like, it seems like social media sort of dumbs down people's style in order to make it easily consumable. Okay, like, how can people run out and buy, you know, exactly what she was wearing or something close? How can they get her style today? Like, how can I turn around today and look like Caroline Bessette? Unfortunately, what we have is like people really actually missing the whole point. Okay, consumerism and lack of originality is really going to be the downfall for all of us. Yes, guys, I've been on this train, you know I have. It is actually that serious. The way social media is just ruining fashion, and like, you know, people just are not even thinking about, why does this look good? Her outfits were perfectly tailored. It was like a perfect balance between intentional and effortless. It was reflective of her job and her life and where she lived. I think people just see this as like a trend. I don't think they see it as like, what about her style can I adopt and blend into my own and, you know, use to help hone my individuality. We're missing the whole damn point. Okay, we just want to buy stuff. Okay, that's it. I read a biography on Caroline last year. Every account was she had a good eye, unwavering opinions on style, and didn't bother with trends and much input from others. The irony with these posts is she's never ditched her style to replicate someone else. That's what makes a fashion icon. Yes, exactly. You know, you can't replicate authenticity. You can't replicate somebody's, you know, aura, their essence. Oh my God, can y'all do anything? Just shop Banana Republic. I mean, I think it's more though than just like, okay, just go to Banana Republic and just buy what they have. You have to understand, what is it about the clothes? What is it about what she was wearing? It's more than just going to Banana Republic and just swiping the card. Okay, why do her basics look so elevated? Why were they unique to her style? It's called quiet luxury. Her sweaters were more expensive than some people's rent. But look, the quiet luxury crowd, I've had enough. Okay, I've had enough. You know, there's gonna be people out there that are like, no, they looked good because they were $1,000 sweaters and blah, blah. First of all, I just want to say this. Yes, she married a Kennedy, but before that, she was a saleswoman who worked her way up at Calvin Klein. Okay, she wasn't somebody that necessarily came from money. So a lot of her style and, like I said, sartorial instincts were from being a fashion professional and working at Calvin Klein and understanding why certain things work. It doesn't matter how expensive something is. If you can understand why certain fits look better on certain body types and like dressing for your body type or dressing for what's flattering to you, or, you know, why does this texture balance well with denim, or why is it contrasting or whatever? There's more to it. And I think to say, well, oh, it's expensive is, once again, we're losing the plot here. Trying to be like somebody else is a waste of the person you are. Hope that helps. Yes. Why can't anyone just be themselves without trying to duplicate somebody else? Well, let's talk about that.
I'm beating a dead horse on overconsumption right now, but this whole Caroline Bessette headband thing is really wild to me, because it's like every time a new It Girl drops, you guys are sprinting to the store to buy whatever that hot new item is, and then you wear it for like literally probably one Instagram picture, and then you never touch it again.
We all know this is true. We do. What I want to talk about beyond that, or underneath that perhaps, is that the stores are always ready. You see how that works? The stores are ready for us. They have the inventory somehow. They know that Caroline Bessette Kennedy is trending, okay? Because our behaviors become so predictable, because all social media has to do is prop up the It Girl, and they know that people are going to come flooding in without any second thought, without any rhyme or reason. People are going to be flooding in the stores, buying it, waiting outside for hours outside places to get a crew neck sweatshirt because it's evocative of 90s Princess Diana or something. It's become so predictable, and people have become predictable, and these companies are taking advantage of that.
It is just crazy to me, and it's also so weird because it's like, has never anything to do with anybody's like personal style. It's like just these like copy and paste girls like mimicking whatever's hot and new at the time. Like, what happened to having some sense of self-identity? Like, put the phone down and go to the store and like actually just pick out things that you like.
Look, I agree with this. And I want to make the distinction that there's a very big difference. Like, I have no problem participating in a trend, being inspired by Caroline Bessette Kennedy's style. She was a fashion icon for a reason. She had great style. Okay, objectively, she did. She always looked good. And there's a reason that almost 30 years later, her style is still relevant. Okay, and she's still relevant because it was timeless. I think it's okay to be inspired by someone's style. I think it's okay to, you know, take things from somebody's style and be like, okay, I'm going to implement this into my own personal wardrobe. But unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of people who are not doing that. Okay. And there is a difference between blending styles, adopting styles into your own individuality, and just, one for one copying.
I don't know if any of these people have even done that in the past like 3 years. Like, that is crazy to me. Like, is it not exhausting to go to the store and think about like, oh, well, what is this person that I like going to be doing next? What are they wearing? What are they wearing? How can I get that? Like, it just takes the fun out of life and out of shopping and out of like creating like your own sense of identity. Like, it's just weird and it's kind of embarrassing. Like, literally just having no sense of self and just sprinting to the store to get the next hot new item to wear it for one Instagram picture or one TikTok is just embarrassing. Get it if you like it. Take inspiration from people that you like do like and like tailor your style to that. Like, I'm not saying you can't take inspiration, but this is not inspiration. This is straight up mimicking. Like, you're duping human beings. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, we're going to see this problem get a lot worse. It's gone even beyond, okay, I'm going to try to copy this person's fashion. It's almost like I want to wear this person's skin. Okay, that's how it's coming across these days. It's getting really insane. Like, I'm buying every single product that this person used to wear or is wearing, or I have everything. I'm trying to copy and paste this person's life onto my own. And I'm actually deleting my life in the process. Okay. I'm hitting backspace on my own life, witnessing history, seeing the CBK headband become the new West Village uniform. Okay. So guys, this is inside the pharmacy in New York City that Caroline Bessette Kennedy allegedly bought her headbands from. So people are just going in there and it's a madhouse. Okay, it is packed wall to wall. They're trying the headbands on. They're in their Caroline Bessette Kennedy clothing that they just bought.
I keep seeing all these videos recently about Caroline Bessette and the pharmacy where she would get her hair accessories from. And yes, it's true. This pharmacy is quite literally the best store I've ever been to. And I was obsessed with it before I even stepped foot inside of it. It was quite literally.
It's interesting to take the 90s icon Caroline Bessette Kennedy and combine it with the social media age and like the influencer culture of I'm literally obsessed. These headbands are literally gorge. I am buying all of them. And link in bio. It's so far from the reality of Caroline Bessette Kennedy's life and style and behavior.
Literally the reason I wanted to make a whole trip to New York City. I was definitely giving off tourist fangirling vibes when I walked in here, but the employees were so incredibly kind. The girl checking me out knew how excited I was, so she ended up sending me home with so many free samples.
Come with us to try Caroline Bessette Kennedy's favorite pharmacy, C.O. Bigelow. Since American Love Story or whatever it's called is coming out, I think it's time for us to go give this a try.
American Love Story or whatever. Who cares? Guys, that's not even what it's called. Okay, it's Love Story. Okay, we don't even know the name. American Horror Story or whatever. Like, we don't even know the name, but we're outside C.O. Bigelow to get the Caroline Bessette Kennedy iconic headband. What are we doing? It's just craziness. CBK obsession so real. Had to go to the same store she got her hair clips and headbands in NYC. Yeah, I gotta make a comment about this. Okay, the term CBK, a lot of people are using CBK now. I don't think anyone was really calling her CBK. Okay, this is like a new TikTok acronym: CBK effect, CBK trend. And it's just kind of like weird. Her style and her essence and who she was and what she liked and disliked as a person, I feel like is just getting lost in translation with all of these new TikTok acronyms, the influencer culture surrounding her style, and it's getting lost. This is not like what she would do. I think if everybody was buying these headbands, I don't think that she'd be in there buying the headbands.
Shh, it's quiet luxury time. My name's Chantal and I work here on the sales floor at C.O. Bigelow, and I'm going to show you our quiet luxury starter kit for the girlies that get it.
Remember when I said that the stores are ready? Okay, they were ready for the trend. Well, they are capitalizing on it. Look, I'm not faulting them at all. Obviously, it makes sense to capitalize on the CBK effect or whatever the hell people are calling it. It makes sense, but it's corny. But a part of me is just sort of like, ugh. It's all about the consumerism. It's all about, okay, here's all the things that you can buy to basically morph into Caroline Bessette Kennedy. It's like going to Spirit Halloween and putting on a costume. And it's like, here's the Caroline Bessette Kennedy section. It is. It's getting to that point. We're going to C.O. Bigelow to LARP as Caroline Bessette Kennedy.
We're going to start off with Levant's detergent in fresh linen. Nothing says quiet luxury like a clean home, clean clothes, and that man asking you, what are you wearing? Detergent, honey.
I've had enough with the quiet luxury. I really have. It just comes across as pretentious, and what does that even mean? It's a social media term.
Famously, CBK shopped here for headbands, but she also commonly wore Egyptian musk. Now that we don't have, but we have our own sweet, sexy version. This is C.O. Bigelow's musk oil. Only $18 to smell luxurious AF. Manicurist is here for the quiet luxury girlies. If you want something non-toxic for your nails that has a non-toxic price point, you're going to love the Active Smooth.
Let's stop with the girlies thing, okay? Let's stop. Let's just end that today. The term girly, it's starting to agitate, it's starting to grate, it's wearing me down. It's wearing me down. A lot of the influencer stuff, the influencer hands, the influencer mannerisms, all that. My patience is wearing very thin.
It's gonna look just like nothing, but it's everything, actually. Nothing says quiet luxury like a lip look that's like, is she wearing something or is she just low-key gorgeous? And I'm sure you've heard enough about headbands, but what about sizing down? Nothing says quiet luxury like a little look. These won't hurt behind your ears, and we have them available right now in many different colors.
They will. To the untrained eye, this may look like just a ponytail with a headband, but it's actually Caroline Bessette coated. Guys, we gotta stop. I don't even give the people the day to wear these because of the headaches that these give. Let's just be honest.
Word on the street is that the crowd is upset because people are obsessing over the CBK aesthetic and individualism is being lost. Well, come with me to C.O. Bigelow to see what the hype is actually about. This is where Carolyn Bessette Kennedy used to buy her hair accessories. I came to see the Mason Pearson brushes in person and to see what the hype was actually really about. So many cute accessories, so many cute hair clips. I do think that I can buy these cheaper on Amazon, but overall the vibe was nice.
So I found this to be very interesting. And by the way, I just want to make the disclaimer. I have no problem with you going to C.O. Bigelow and buying a headband, you know, buying the trendy stuff there, you know, whatever. But my point here is this, okay? The message is not lost on a lot of these people. You know, she said, look, you know, people are talking right now that there's overconsumption, there's consumerism, there's people losing individuality. But here I go to C.O. Bigelow anyway. I'm acknowledging that I could probably find this for cheaper somewhere else. But I'm still walking out with a bag. The message is being received, but it's not being heard. And I guess my question is, why is that? I feel like she's so close to the point. We just couldn't get there. We just couldn't really get there.
I know in my heart of heart that all these CBK girls are buying those headbands from C.O. Bigelow and getting the biggest migraine of their lives from them.
Yeah.
I'm in so much pain behind my ears. This headband is so cute. I'm obsessed with it, but it hurts. Those bones behind my ears.
This is very niche, but very helpful life hack for the girls who bought the C.O. Bigelow, aka Carolyn Bessette Kennedy headband and are suffering from physical pain. So we're taking Sweet and Low sweetener packets and putting them behind. Guys, we're doing stuff that's out of the norm for what? For what? They're not even practical yet. We're spending $40, $50 on a headband that we're probably going to abandon, whether it be because I bought it because I was trendy and I wasn't really thinking about it. I was swept up in CBK core, or because it straight up just gives me the worst migraines of all time. This is the consequence, I think, of jumping on trends like this and not really like just taking time to be like, am I really going to wear this? Is this really practical? Have I read all the reviews?
I don't think that the people rushing out to buy Caroline Bessette's headband understand the irony in all of this. And that is that you can't replicate authenticity by recreating it. Her style was authentic to her. It was authentic to her occupation. It was authentic to the time she was living in, the lifestyle that she was living. And this sort of copy culture completely defeats the purpose of having authentic style.
She's making some great points here, and I think a lot of why Caroline Bessette's style works so well is because she was a working professional who was living in New York City. She had a big life with a lot going on. She was working in fashion. There was like a whole life, I guess, that went along with the style where it made sense. And I think that a lot of time when people try to replicate the style, it's like they're trying to replicate the aura, the essence, the enigmatic sort of way that she was. They want to have the career. They want to work in fashion. They want to live that lifestyle in New York City. And like I said, there's little consideration about what actually I like or what my style is or how can I, take little things and it's just one for one copying at this point. The other thing as well is like, a lot of people are like, oh, 90s minimalism is back, baby. Oh yeah. Like I can't wait for 90s chic to be back. And it's like, well, why can't you just do 90s chic yourself? Why couldn't you do that? If you genuinely like it, which a lot of people, by the way, that are adopting the Caroline Bessette Kennedy style, I do believe that they actually love 90s minimalism. And that is actually probably what suits them. And it suits a lot of people, to be honest. Why not just do it then? Why do you need everybody else to do it at the same time as you?
Respectfully, none of you are Caroline Bessette's because you are trying to be Caroline Bessette's. John Kennedy Jr. didn't choose Caroline Bessette because there were a million other Caroline Bessettes. You catch the drift here. Now, with all that being said, you can't engage in fashion without inspiration. That's just completely unavoidable. Meaning there will always be people that inspire you, people that you like their clothes, eras that inspire you, movies that inspire you, whatever. And all of that should kind of come together as a collective and create individual style. But replicating one person's style, that's not style.
Yes, this is true. And this is a really nice and succinct way of saying you can't just run out to C.O. Bigelow and get the headband and get the sunglasses and get the Levi 501s and the Prada bag. It's so much more important. And as somebody else mentioned, it's actually fun to create your own style and genuinely take inspiration, because everybody had to do it. Even Caroline Bessette Kennedy was inspired by other people and other people's style and things she'd seen. I think people aren't engaging in the fun as much because it's so much easier to just have somebody else tell you what to wear and what to buy.
Someone that went to fashion school, I'm very happy that we're talking about 90s American fashion and Calvin Klein, the classic styles from that era and all of it. But where I think Gen Z really needs to get a grip is with this sort of copy culture. Additionally, it gets a little bit snobby, I've been noticing, which I think is also kind of ironic.
You know, I've been kind of thinking about this for a while, but I don't think it's necessarily all Gen Z's fault. I think back to when I was younger and I was growing up and, you know, I was a teenager and I was trying to figure out my style and whatever. There were a lot of ways that I feel like individuality was fostered. I think back to the magazines, and if you read like 17 magazine or, you know, any of those things, there were so many quizzes, for example, that were like, okay, what style are you? You know, what kind of girl are you? And then you would take the quiz and it was like, you're answering the questions. Okay, these are specific to you. You know, do you like purple or pink? And then you would take the track and then it would lead you down to, okay, this is your style. There were so many different styles too. It wasn't just like one homogenous unistyle that everybody was wearing. There were so many different subsects of fashion and style. And I feel like back then it was more celebrated to pursue your own individual style and your own individual path and like do your own thing. And to contrast that, I think that now social media has truly ruined fashion because no one's trying to foster that anymore, because it's so much easier to sell to people when we all have the same style. It's so much easier to push products on people and get people out to the stores and predict their behavior when they know that we're all coming in to look like Caroline Bessette Kennedy this month. You know, a lot of people are jumping on trends, and I feel like at some point jumping on the micro trends is their style. That is what their style is. That's their personality. You know, consumerism becomes their personality. I have all the park sweatshirts and I'm hanging out outside Target at 2 a.m. and I'm camped out for this. And every time something new pops up, I have it. You know, I'm in the know. I think that that's where we're really losing fashion. I feel like the word trendy, I guess, is getting lost in translation. I don't know that it used to be such a pejorative term, I guess, is the point that I'm making. Trends have taken on such a new life. It's every trend. It's a lot of people that they're copying everything. They're jumping on everything. And it's like their mission to just have whatever's hot right now.
Me to Bigelow, go get a tortoise headband so that I can be Caroline Bessette Kennedy. I know everyone's going to be really surprised with me that I'm participating in another internet trend, but
here we go. We're heading to C.O. Bigelow for the viral headband. It's just like,
okay.
It's cute. I mean, guys, I think it's cute. I don't dislike it. I really do like Caroline Bessette Kennedy's style. I do. But I know these headbands hurt like hell. I know it in my heart, and I know it's coming off soon.
I got my and I've been wanting one before this thing all happened. This one just kind of helped me choose which one I wanted, which is stupid. Now I think like a Kennedy has to fall in love with me, right?
I know she's kind of being facetious and joking around here, but I do think, honestly, that this has a lot to do with it. Okay? And I'm going to touch on that in a second here. But I really think that people are buying this stuff because they're like, I want a Kennedy to fall in love with me. I want to attract a certain kind of guy.
Did you know that you can still buy some of Caroline Bessette Kennedy's favorite things and they make great Christmas gifts? Here's a gift guide for your favorite cool girl inspired by her favorite cool girl.
I've had enough. gift guide. Here's all of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's things. We're losing it. It's over. We're done. We've got to stop. We've got to walk away, put the phone down, stop it. And the whole cool girl movement, I've had enough. I've had enough of quiet luxury. I've had enough of cool girl. We have to stop. I think that the cool girl, or whatever this idea is, has become the most commercialized, stupid consumer movement in the history of social media at this point.
Let's talk CBK's fragrance. She wore Egyptian musk oil, which is extremely hard to find.
And we got to wear her perfume now.
If you want to smell like Carolyn Bessette Kennedy,
we've got to smell like her. We've got to smell like her, look like her, talk like her. We have to have the same guy. Okay. We got to have the same hair.
Talking about Love Story and CBK's amazing style. Us 90 girlies have always known what an icon she was. One of the things she's well known for was her love of Abdul Karim Egyptian musk, and it's literally mentioned in the first 30 seconds of the show. Her buying it on the streets of New York, that's facts. That's where I also got it in the 90s. But
this to me is the perfect illustration of what is wrong. Like, it encapsulates everything that I'm talking about right now. She was buying Egyptian musk perfume on the streets of New York, where she lived, where she worked, where she walked. She was buying it on the streets of New York from a street vendor. They're buying it off eBay for $500. They're trying to recreate it. They're trying to find the dupe. They're trying to, like, no. Okay, it was cool because she's buying it on the street of New York. It's not cool to go run out and buy all the CBK favorites. It's not authentic, is what I'm saying.
if you're a loyal customer, you know production was stopped because the owner passed. You can find it online for
$100.
This isn't even close.
I want Carolyn Bessette Kennedy blonde. So people are going out getting their hair done like her. I mean, it just, there's never ending things to buy, things to do. Here's all the activities I've got on my checklist of, okay, I'm going out. I'm going to CO Bigelow today. I'm wearing flip-flops in New York, which good luck wearing flip-flops in New York. Okay, your feet are going to look like you're in a chimney sweep. I got to get my hair done. I got to get Carolyn Bessette Kennedy blonde. I've got to get my Egyptian musk. And then I'm going over to Salim Atik to pick up some $500 sunglasses. Just pick one. I'll concede this. Just pick one and do that, okay? If you want the Carolyn Bessette Kennedy blonde hair, fine. Do it. I support you. But all of these things, it's getting weird. And it's just, there's so much stuff to buy. Day one of watching Love Story, and somebody's on Ray-Ban buying $200 sunglasses. They're on Aritzia. They're buying, what would she wear? What's something similar to what she would wear? How can I buy new things? Like, just use what you got. Finding out LL Bean has the CBK beach bag. CBK beach bag. It's an LL Bean bag. It's an LL Bean bag. Everybody on the East Coast has these bags. Okay. And look, the stores have like just 1 million and people are buying them up because they're like, oh my God, it's the CBK beach bag. It's dystopic. The CBK effect. And look at, this is apparently a restaurant that Carolyn Bessette Kennedy and JFK Jr. went to. So it's like, the lines are on the street, which I think this was like a popular restaurant before, but it's only getting worse. Okay. It's only getting worse. People are like, I need to do everything, literally everything these people did. Whoa. This new CBK trend is proof that people will morph into anyone popular at the time. It's almost like they can't be authentically themselves, so they copycat for a season. Yeah. It's getting to be a little bit of a problem, I would say. And I think in the process of this, the memory of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's style and, her contributions to fashion are getting sort of distorted because it's just being dumbed down to like, guys, here's the CBK beach bag. Here's, go out, run out and buy it and see how Bigelow. What the are we doing? What are we doing?
Don't buy that headband. Don't buy those sunglasses. And do not buy that Hermes belt. You're not Carolyn Bessette or CBK or whatever you want to call her. And that's okay. You don't need to be. Put your energy into finding your own style, things that feel like you, and it'll be a lot more interesting.
This is true. I think there's a real opportunity for fashion creators and educators and, lovers of fashion to really sort of pave the way for people to create their own unique style. Like, how can we start fostering that in other people? What are the things that we can do to encourage people to really be themselves? Like, maybe it's you start with your favorite media, a book that you like, a time period, or a movie or something. Take everything that you love. Start there. What do I love? What calls to me? Okay, without the outside noise, without any of that, what calls to me? And then start there. And first of all, what do I already have? Okay, start there. What do we already have in the closet? Okay. Let's put that on. Okay. Let's try that first and, build off of that. What is it that I love? What makes sense for my life? What's practical to me? That's how you create your own style. You can take inspiration from anybody. It's a very, I think, edifying process to really discover who you are. I guess what I want anyone to come away from this video with is that it's a really fun process to do this. It's actually fun. Is it easy? No. Okay. If it was easy, more people would be doing it, but it's worth it.
My opinion on the entire Caroline Bessette trend sweeping the masses right now is that I wish people would learn to take inspiration and apply it to their own wardrobes and their own jewelry and their own hairstyles without completely copying another person, whether that be someone famous, a political figure, a celebrity, a music artist, an icon of some sort, okay? What is fashion without inspiration? You could probably name 5 different people alone, looking at my outfit right now, that I probably took inspiration from for, my daily wardrobe. That is not a crime. Taking inspiration, finding someone really interesting and really cool and loving their style, that's not a crime. But I am seeing a trend, especially in, recent years with young people, where we kind of just hop from one trend to the next trend to the next trend. And a lot of people do not retain anything from previous trends.
I agree with all of this. I think what's happening is like they're trying the trend out and they're like, it just doesn't feel right, and they're not really putting a whole lot of thought behind, well, why do I not like this? Or what do I like about this? Why is my favorite shirt my favorite shirt? What is the fit on it? And then maybe only looking for clothes that are like that. And then you really restrict yourself. Like, I'm not going to buy anything if it's in this color because I know it looks horrible on me, or, something along those lines. I don't think people are really taking notes when they try out something and it doesn't work. No person's style or trend is ever going to be a perfect match for you because it's usually somebody else's style. It's not your style, okay? By virtue of the fact that it's somebody else's, it's not yours. So you have to really curate your own style, and it takes time. And a lot of people think it can happen overnight. It can't. A lot of people think that it's easy to do it. It's not. It takes thought. And I think she's right here. A lot of people are not actually really thinking about what is it about her style that is so good. Why are people loving her style? The tailoring, the fits, the colors, the textures, and taking those principles. There are fashion principles that are happening that could be applied to your own personal situation and wardrobe.
The real Caroline Bessette Kennedy would not let a single TV show drastically impact her entire wardrobe and personal style for the next 2 to 3 months. And I say 2 to 3 months very intentionally because I think the majority of this content about where to get CBK's black turtleneck or how to dress like CBK ultimately will not continue anywhere longer than maybe 3 months.
No, it won't. It will not. And like I said, the headbands, I give them a day.
And that's being generous. And look, I understand it's fun to participate in these cultural moments and it's fun to be nostalgic about the 90s. But if the first thing you think when you watch a new TV show is, what can I buy to look like her? You need to reevaluate your overconsumption habits, the media you're consuming, and most importantly, your sense of self. In the nicest way possible, why did it take a #1 hit on Hulu for you to discover 90s minimalism?
Look, I'm going to say this. There's a lot of opportunists that have really no knowledge or understanding of Caroline Bessette Kennedy's style. They're just here to make a buck off you, to make some content. Okay, you know how I feel about influencers, all right? The influencers are out and they're taking advantage of the Caroline Bessette Kennedy style. They have no clue what's going on. And I'm not saying this like in a gatekeeping way, like, anybody can wear Caroline Bessette Kennedy style. These people are like, it's so off. Okay, this one, for example, it's not even in the right decade. Her hair, the blowout, it's not even close. I'm sorry, it's just not even close. It's not close. Okay, it's not even the right decade. It's like 80s hair. Kennedy's style was low-key modest and simple, not like this. This is the opposite of Caroline Bessette, yeah. Influencers saying anything to stay relevant. Everyone in fashion was dressing well in the 90s, yeah.
I want to introduce you to Caroline Bessette.
90s chic is so back. This is not. It's just all wrong. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just all wrong. And these are the people that are, selling you the clothes. They're selling you the aesthetic. They're selling you, this was Caroline Bessette. It wasn't. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. She was famous for the undone hair, the effortless style. She didn't ever have like these huge, humongous earrings on.
For tonight's night out, my outfit inspo is Caroline Bessette. Okay?
Caroline Bessette. We don't even know the name. And we're like, here's the outfit inspo. She's an icon. I'm obsessed with her style. And it's like, girl, you don't even know her name. Okay, let's start there. What's her name? It feels like grifters.
I have like what I would consider best trousers to ever exist. Someone put those on.
This
They're
is her
mid-rise,
outfit of the
very
night, by the
flattering to
way.
the leg. And then they have a dramatic flare. And then for tops, I have two options. I like the iconic short sleeve turtleneck or just a short sleeve sweater. Okay, option one. By the way, I've worn this exact outfit before it was trendy, okay? This is option two. I feel like this is more Caroline Bessette.
I just don't know what to say. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say.
More things. Put on my Dior pumps. Give me the height that I don't have. Really cute. Next, I'm gonna put my hair up and leave out these front pieces. I feel like something like this is like what she would do. And then I feel like she always had circle glasses on.
I mean...
Guys, do I look like her?
No.
Obviously not, I'm kidding, but I'm probably not gonna wear this out tonight, guys, but this was a lot of fun.
I love how everything is wrong. Yeah. I would never criticize, but that look was definitely not her. Be yourself. She was. That's why she was iconic. I'm probably not going to wear this out tonight. Carolyn, not Caroline. She wouldn't wear logo heels. Your first top option or any jewelry and likely hair down. Signed a 90s NYC girl. Look, there's lots of debates about what would she wear, what would she not wear. All I can say is her name was Carolyn. Okay? Not Caroline. And, you know, these people don't even seem to know what's going on. And yet we're all jumping on the trend of CBK fashion.
I was on the news yesterday for my Caroline Bessette inspired outfit, and at least someone liked it because you guys said I said the name wrong, which I did. My shoes were wrong, my pants were wrong, my hair was wrong, and my makeup was wrong.
It was. It's just people that they don't have a damn clue. They don't have a damn clue. Okay. And, you know, there is a difference between like you're copying, you're jumping on a trend and, you know, truly being inspired by someone, having respect for their authenticity, having respect for, you know, their fashion contributions and understanding fashion and how to put looks together. What was it about Caroline Bessette Kennedy's style that was working and, you know, implementing that or teaching people that? And a lot of people are missing the mark. You know, I saw this video the other day as well where she was saying, I couldn't believe it. She goes, I'm going to dress my boyfriend like JFK Jr. from the TV series Love Story. And I'm like, wait a minute. You mean JFK Jr., the real person? Not from the TV series. He was a real person. You know that, right? They were real people. It's not just a TV show, okay? Like fictional. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, anyway. Then you have stuff like this where, you know, influencers are jumping on the trend to sell you something. They're like using this as a business opportunity to like do their sponsorships and like do their advertisements and stuff. And like CBK Core, I'm like, dude. Just stop.
One and their mothers right now are channeling Caroline Bessette. The reason she was the style icon. So I wanted to show you how you could kind of capture her style on a budget and with a slight modern twist. We have this gorgeous black little lace.
Black lace camisole. I actually looked this up. I'm like, where was she? Did she ever wear something like this? To my knowledge, I couldn't find a photo. Okay. It just doesn't even seem like something she would wear, quite frankly. It's all over the damn place.
These tops are really trending right now, but they've always been around. Thank you so much, Cider, for letting me pick out all of these bits. I absolutely love working with them.
You guys know I don't like this influencer culture. Okay, I don't. I'm done. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm sick of it. Just stop. Stop with the stupid advertisements when you have no clue who she even was. You don't even say her name right. You're a grifter. You're an opportunist. You're trying to sell people stuff when you don't actually have any respect for fashion or style or anything like that. So just stop. Thanks.
Do you think if Rhode existed in the Caroline Bessette era that Carolyn would be a Rhode product user? I feel like both of them.
These are the conversations we're having. Would Caroline Bessette Kennedy use Rhode? Okay, let's stop.
Embody different energy, but also like it girl energy. But I thought the product placement of Sarah Pigeon only using Rhode products last night at the Actors Award was honestly pretty brilliant because I do feel like it positions Rhode as the makeup brand that Carolyn would be using, because obviously they can't do product placement or direct advertising with the show because they just didn't exist in that era.
This disturbs me, quite frankly. Maybe I'm too far with it. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to say how I feel, which is this does not sit right with me. To me, this is walking a very fine line between ethical and unethical when you have someone who is an actress who's playing someone who has passed in a TV series, doing product placements, insinuating that these are the products that Carolyn Bessette Kennedy would have used if she were still alive today. Essentially having her endorse these Rhode products. I think that's disgusting. I think it's disgusting to insinuate that she would have been a Rhode girly. Honestly, I do. I think it's seriously walking a very fine line and potentially, honestly, in my opinion, crossing it. I think you're crossing a line, okay? Doing product placement with, the person that looks like is basically in character as the person who's synonymous with Carolyn Bessette Kennedy right now, and having her do product placements as if she's, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy in the flesh walking around. And by the way, based on everything that I've read about her, seen about her, and just her style and the person she was, you're not a fashion icon by copying and doing what everybody else is doing. She was wearing a street vendor perfume that she bought off the streets of New York. You think she'd be wearing Rhode? What everybody else is wearing? Everyone's, posing this question too, like, would she have been a Pilates girly? Pilates existed back then, by the way. These people are trying to fit this person who's not even here anymore to defend her style, to talk about her style, to explain her choices. And if she wanted to, she would have. But she didn't do that because she famously did not like the press, did not like media attention. I don't think it's right to project what we think she would have been onto her. And it's not right. I don't think it's ethical to say, yeah, this is what she would have worn. No, what did she wear? Period. Okay, what did she show us? What was she seen wearing? You're crossing a line if you go beyond that. Say, oh, she would have worn this, or this is what. Stop. It's getting out of control, and it's the consumerism. We're all like desperate to like connect her with, oh, she would have used Rhode, so I'm going to use Rhode. It's just, you just want something to buy. Just say that. You want something to buy. Okay, you want something to buy. Stop it. When I'm tall, blonde, and have a big nose, so I know I'd be JFK Jr.'s type. Okay. What? Let's get down to some reality here. This is my hypothesis. This is my working theory. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be honest about how I really feel about what I'm seeing with some of this. I feel like with a lot of this, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy obsession, people being obsessed with her style, I think it actually has very little to do with Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's actual style and appreciation for her outfits, her fashion, her mind, or any of that. I actually think it has a lot more to do with the fact that she was with a guy that a lot of these women want to be with. They want to be with, a JFK Jr. They want to be with a guy who has a lot of money and comes from this prestigious family. They want to look like her because they think that looking like her and having her style and wearing her clothes is going to attract that type of man into their life. I think it is actually that insidious. I think it comes from a very male-centered place. I really do, because this whole series is like, how can I get this hunk JFK Jr.? You're a big weird. Patiently waiting for our JFK Jr., okay? And we're like sitting out, pretending that we're waiting for JFK Jr. This is what I have to say. I think that when you think about these women, okay, you think about Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, she worked her way up from being a saleswoman at Calvin Klein in Boston and then found herself working in New York City, working with Kate Moss. She was very successful at her job at Calvin Klein. A lot of people have come forward that used to work at Calvin Klein with her. No one has a bad word to say about her, that worked with her. But she seemed to be kind. She seemed to be smart. She had great instincts with fashion. She had great fashion contributions. All of this is to say that the least interesting thing about these women were their clothes. Truly. And I think it's getting lost because people are like, oh, I just want to find a JFK. I want to copy your style because I want to attract a guy. Get your head out of your ass, please. I guess what's frustrating is to see her style and like this whole renaissance happening around her be reduced to she was JFK Jr.'s wife. She was actually, in my opinion, more interesting than he was. Anyway, rant over.
As someone who has read every biography there is about Carolyn Bessette years before the show even came to fruition, I feel compelled to say that Carolyn Bessette would have hated this TV show. And what I'm surprised I don't see anybody talking about is the fact that the entire reason she wore black minimalist clothing was to avoid the press because she didn't want her photo taken.
Yes. And you really think that she would be like going to road events and going to CO Bigelow when it's packed to the gills with other people buying the same damn headband? Like, it's further evidence that people are missing the point.
Every single like icon fashion photo we have of Carolyn Bessette to date are paparazzi photos that she did not want taken. And there's something about that just grosses me out.
There's that, as well as there's only like a handful of videos, literally, of her even talking. She didn't like media attention. She didn't like any of that, famously.
Like, so many people on TikTok are mesmerized, pulling up these photos of her as a scared deer in headlights, trying to avoid the freaking paparazzi, using this as their style inspiration. The thing is, she was a style icon, but not because she was a minimalist dresser. That's not the reason that she was. She was a style icon for what she did at Calvin Klein, what she did with Kate Moss. She had a lot of interesting tips and tricks. For example, she used to say that if you brought texture into an outfit, it would add more interest than color. So like, think a crocodile clutch or a pony hair bag. You know, she would bring in texture, and she worked with these designers who were amazing, like Yohji Yamamoto. I mean,
this is a really good point. I'm glad that she's bringing it up. It's like there were specific ideas or philosophies about fashion, and like that's a good example of one. It's the texture thing of, you know, that's why things were working. She was really thinking about it. And it's like, it's so ironic, I guess, to just, without thinking, just go and run out and buy the C.O. Bigelow headband and like all of her clothes and, you know, at Zara or whatever the hell. On the contrast to that, she was really thinking about everything, every piece she thought about.
And there's just something about like influencers getting on this app and being like, get dressed with me to look like Caroline Bessette, and they call her Caroline. Her name was Carolyn. That just rubs me the wrong way.
Me after falling for JFK Jr. propaganda, only to find out Carolyn wasn't even the last one he slept with before the plane crashed together, and they were literally married. So guys, I don't know if this is true. I'm not corroborating the story whatsoever, but I guess what I am saying is that there's a reality here that, you know, people are romanticizing the fashion, they're romanticizing her life, they're romanticizing the relationship. They titled the TV series Love Story. I mean, guys, be serious here. Okay. This was a very toxic relationship. That's my read on it after reading everything I've read and watching everything and just what I know and all the stuff I've collected about this relationship. There was a ton of infidelity reported in this relationship. Okay. They had public fights in Central Park. Okay, this is, by the way, multiple fights they were having in Central Park, fighting like cats and dogs. I mean, if they're doing this in public, imagine what they're doing behind the scenes. This was not a perfect relationship. Like I said, lots of talk of infidelity, and yet we're like romanticizing this. We're watching this and we're like, oh my God, I gotta be like them. It's like, what was the reality of their life? The people that are copying it, you know, bar for bar, we're going to the same restaurants they went to, we're wearing the same perfume, I'm wearing the same this, that, the other thing. Oh my God, it'd be so great to date JFK Jr. and whatever. The grass is not always greener. I think that this is even bigger, obviously, than fashion, this whole story, you know, all these things with her and JFK Jr. But, you know, the things that even came out after their deaths where people were accusing her of, you know, if she didn't go get her nails done that morning, then maybe they wouldn't have died. Or if she had simply taken plane lessons like she should have, maybe she could have piloted the plane back, or she would have noticed that something was wrong. It's like, you know, he was wearing apparently his foot was like in a boot or something. The media just twisted the narrative so badly and distorted so much around this woman. And I hate to see how her fashion and her style and her essence is being distorted once again in the year 2026. I guess what I'm saying is just like, be yourself. I will say this though. The ladies are not the only ones that are falling for the JFK Jr. CBK propaganda. Okay. The men are also falling for it. They are experiencing JFK Jr. syndrome right now. Okay. Falling for the propaganda of the Love Story show. And they are running around New York City currently right now, trying to look like JFK Jr. It's a shock to us all. Things have actually escalated to the point where there's actually a JFK Jr. lookalike contest happening. Biggest hunk wins $250 cash in Washington Square Park. When's the contest? We coming. Okay, so we've got, you know, guys that really want to be JFK Jr. wearing the outfit, wearing the backwards hat, dressing like him. It's the 90s look. We're out on the streets of New York. I mean, I feel like it's just kind of like, it's corny. It doesn't matter who you are. It's corny to try to be anybody else but yourself. In every situation, in every circumstance, it's always going to be corny.
Yes, you don't actually look like JFK Jr. just because you use the American Wedding audio and you're wearing like baggy trousers, a Henley, and like a backwards hat. You don't actually look like him.
Lululemon got the JFK Jr. memo. So it's like these companies are adopting it. They're trying to take advantage of everybody that's on this train. You know, they're willing to take your money, and they're of course going to get it from people. Okay. They're like looking to cash in just like every other business out there. And don't fall for it, guys. It's genuinely corny. Okay. I don't know what else to say.
Mind you, they dropped one love story on Hulu and you got every single man in the United States wanting to ride a bike everywhere in a fucking shoot.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Look, it's affecting New York. Everybody's doing the Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. They're all doing the JFK Jr. looks. And all I can really say is we are in a major individuality crisis like we have never seen before. Consumerism has taken over these trends. Social media is ruining fashion, what we know about fashion, our fashion literacy. It's literally consuming us. And all I can really say is be yourself, okay? Be yourself. There's no one like it. You know you. Okay, so explore that, hone that, curate that, and have fun with it. Okay, it's fun. It's a fun process, but you have to take the time to do it. And it can be an amazing journey while you're at it. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today, guys. If you like this type of video, make sure you like and subscribe. Plenty more videos coming. I got another one cooking up that's pretty good, not gonna lie. Okay, so you're gonna wanna be here for that. So yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.